It's a distress call from a ship called the Nova 5. They crash-landed. I'm trying to establish contact.
Another ship? Brilliant! So it's not aliens then?
No, they're from Earth. Hope they got some spare odds and sods on board. We're a bit short on a few supplies.
Like what?
Cow's milk. Ran out of that yonks ago. Fresh and dehydrated.
What kind of milk are we using now?
Emergency backup supply. We're on the dog's milk.
Dog's milk?
Nothing wrong with dog's milk. Full of goodness, full of vitamins, full of marrowbone jelly. Lasts longer than any other type of milk, dog's milk.
Why?
No bugger will drink it. Plus, of course, the advantage of dog's milk is that when it goes off, it tastes exactly the same as when it's fresh.
Why didn't you tell me, Ollie?
What, and spoil your tea?
And welcome to Hiccups. Let's see here. Okay, now I can hear it. Well, I've got a little issue with code compliance to deal with here. We'll talk about. Let me see here. Let's hit this. And let's pop that up and see what happens. Okay, there's that. And let's see. Okay. Look at that. Okay. I'll just go back to this here. Be fine. Okay. Anyway, Maddie and them moved our new schedule up to the council agenda for this last Tuesday. It should have came out till the end of October. That'd been 1 year to a time. They moved it up on purpose just so they can railroad it through. They're always worried that people might stand up. They never know when people might just stand up and start doing something. So they're always worried. They're always fighting it and doing shenanigans like boot it up quickly. And it's wrong. It's totally wrong. She knows it's wrong. They know it's wrong. It's filthy. It's dirty. It's wrong. But until we do something about it, that's all there is to that. And the same thing with code compliance. And that's what got me started right there. If it wasn't for the director, Brandon Bennett, his dishonesty, I'd probably never been this involved. That's what got me started. Because when I first met code compliance, I could not believe, I'm thinking that this is how I got involved. Like I said, I thought things worked normal in our city, just like it would in the private market or anything else. But it don't, not at all. I mean, I got bogus citations written against me. I've got an hour interview with Brandon Bennett, and all he does is try to manipulate you. He doesn't answer questions. He's gone now. He retired. But just so many. It's just so wrong. Their whole thing is to intimidate people and to make them. It's the same. It's just like Nazis, really, and like Germany and World War II. When they first started telling the Jews they had to put a sign in the window, the Jews didn't resist. Tell the Jews wear an armband, they didn't resist. Tell the Jews to get on the train and go, they didn't resist. And look where they wound up at. They didn't resist, and that's the problem. They didn't resist. They trusted it, but look what happened. And you can't trust your local government here, especially when it takes away free speech. How can you trust these people down there? How can anybody sleep at night knowing that these people are in charge of the city that did that? But anyway, that's what got me going. Brandon Bennett took me all the way up to the council and mayor back then, and that's where the buck stopped with the mayor. And that's where the buck stops right now with the mayor. And that's where it starts to fix things, is with the mayor. Either we hold the mayor liable when she does something wrong, and we confront her and do it, which is just hard to get people to do that. They don't want to do that unless it affects them. And that's the hard thing about it. So I don't think that's going to happen. But that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to require, that and get a real mayor. And there's so many things that could be done in this city to help people and make it better. And like code compliance needs to be definitely remodified. They have a policy that there's no repercussions to the employees for lying. They can actually lie. And they have power to write citations and the power to lie without repercussions. You can't put that together. Lying is not even allowed in the book. You know, in the book of faith written by the children of Eve, lying's in one of the top 10. I've gone before city. I met with David Cook, the city manager before, and they have the right to lie. They can actually lie about, right ticket. I mean, but anyway, and like I say, they only use this not enough to get people really stirred up, but just a little bit, and no one else will do anything. And I've helped 3 or 4 people to stop getting citations by going out on the spot. And one guy was in a wheelchair, and they were really taking advantage of him and that. But the answer is the mayor. Until you have a mayor, I mean, our council members won't do anything. They won't even speak out. Chris Nettles, it was in his district. He didn't say anything. Chris wouldn't say a word. And he's supposed to be a pastor. Give me a break. Right? I mean, it's jokes what's going on down there. But anyway, this is what my case is right now, is that this house right here, and I know the guy, I couldn't find the clips, but the guy that bought this house also had another house at the other end of the street, and the water department was paving his driveway, and I filmed it, and it went viral on Channel 5 News and everywhere, and a big blow up there. The water department was supposed to be out paving, they put money in their pocket, these guys were, and paving driveways. And this owner of this house, he knows that wasn't right. But anyway, he bought this one, and what he did was he took the garage, so-called garage, that little sign, you probably can't read it, that says don't block the garage. That's no garage. That is another little house right there, turned around. You see the driveway goes down there to it. Another person lives there, and he rents it out. And I've got him on film, and I could have got that film clip and put it on here, I forgot. But anyway, I'm going to put all this together in a video, in a code compliance video I'll make, and I'll put it all together in there. But he did that. He's renting that out to make money, and he's renting this house out to make money. And this area out here, we've been here for 60 years, 50, 60 years, and we had it rezoned 1 house per half acre. We wanted to get it zoned 1 house per acre, but none of us have quite an acre. We're close to an acre, but we're just a little under an acre. So the best we could do is 1 house per half acre. And that's what we got it all zoned for. 1 family per half acre. Well, this guy pops in here and thinks he's going to make 2 houses here and rent them out, make money while he lives up on Meadowbrook. He doesn't live out here. That's what we didn't have it zoned for that. Okay. But anyway, he had the big house rented out. That one's still rented out over here. The garage is still rented to the same person. I didn't say anything for a while. I waited. When the family that was in the big house there, they moved out. And when they moved out, that's when I didn't load that sign up. I could, but there's a sign across the street from it there saying, warning, you could be moving into a violation at 616 Bay Street. Also, you see there's 2 mailboxes. You see the 2 mailboxes clear as day right there. Put a sign up warning. So I didn't do anything earlier because I really didn't want to disrupt somebody, because it's not their fault. It's not the renter's fault. They're not guilty, but they'd be the ones that would suffer the consequences. So I didn't say anything until they moved out. When the house became vacant, he went in and did some remodeling, and then I put that sign up. He remodeled on it for several months there. And it's still right now, I don't know what's going on. If someone's moving in or not, there's some kids' toys over there, a little bit going in and out, but it don't matter. I went ahead and called code compliance. And I want you to notice something too. If you look at the top of the garage, on the right, the house, it's a house now, the garage is very top in the peak there. There's a light there. And you see there's a metal shield around it. And when they put that light up, they first did, I asked if they could block it off because it shines over here. And it's annoying. So I asked, and they put a shield around it. That's fine. When I turned him in, he took it down. So that's why I don't consider to be aggravating, just all childish. And also, when I turned this into code last Friday, I called and said, look, there's 2 not supposed to be living there. Well, before I turned him into code, actually, because I went around and knocked on the door and filmed that guy in there. You see inside the house. He said he was renting. I have him on tape. That's when the owner came out and put this sign up there, and he put this no trespassing sign on the garage. No trespassing. These signs are just a little bit late, to tell you the truth. They're just a little bit late because I done got the footage and everything. And he took this one away about don't block the garage. That's a joke. That's not a garage. It's a joke. But anyway, so I've turned it in because I think they're starting to have activity in the big house, and I gave fair warning about this. So I'm not worried about the renters or everybody just rented. They rented, already rented, whatever. I gave warning, so that's good enough. And that. But anyway, I turned it in. And what he did was he called code compliance and turned me in. Because there's some debris and stuff around my house. We've been here for 60 years. It was country. And I don't live in a suburban area. You can see we got room out here. And tracts of land, horses, everything else. We don't live in a suburban area. And I'm not going to live by the rules that you're living. Now, I understand if you're living in one of those developments, and you had a bunch of debris in your yard, and the houses are right next door to each other. I can understand that you wouldn't want it there. But then again, even if you live in one of those areas and you had debris, and the neighbors across the street, neighbors to your left, neighbors to your right, didn't care, didn't mind, didn't bother them, leave it alone. Stop right there. That's fine. I don't think the neighbors would agree to that, though. I think they would have a problem with it. But if they didn't, so what I'm getting at the point is, let the people live how they want to live in their neighborhood. Don't have code coming out and standing over there trying to tell you how you're going to live. Now that officer came out. Actually, I put the reporting on this one on Friday. And they say an officer would contact me in 72 hours. I couldn't understand. He called. I think it was Tuesday or Monday. I couldn't understand the recording. So I worked at trying to get back in touch with him to find out what the results are on this property. And I was working in my studio downstairs, and I saw an officer come to my yard, and I went out, not knowing that he's the officer that I was supposed to be in touch with about that complaint. Not knowing at that point that he's that officer. I asked him if he was about, started talking about that house around. I said, you are here about the house across the street? He said, no, I'm here about another complaint. One filed about you. I said, okay. It's a retaliation complaint is what it is. No one said nothing. Everything's been like it's been over 20 years sitting here. All of a sudden, boom, a complaint. Okay. Well, that's fine. I know he's upset because I turned him. He's doing something far much less. He's renting these things out, making money, putting in his pocket. And that's wrong. Totally wrong. And but anyway, his is the first complaint right there, and mine's the second. But the officer really wanted to come around the house. I said, no, you're not coming around the yard. You're not coming around anywhere. I said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to address this one across the street first. Until this one's addressed and I know what's going on there and where we're at, then we'll talk about mine. He didn't want to do that. The officer kind of wanted to deal with my issue first here, and about my stuff and what the complaint was on my yard and that. So anyway, he asked me if he could post something on the porch. I said no. He said, how about here, out here? I said, well, that's city out in the ditch out there. That's city. I have no control with it. He can put what he wants to. And he posted my notice out there. And I told him, I said, you go back to your superior, tell your superior that when we address this one first, 616 first, then we will address mine. But until we address this one first, we're not addressing mine. And he just didn't want to accept that. And I said, look, you want to write citations. I can't help it. You don't accept it. Whatever. And I'm not going to go around with you. I'm saying it clearly. And I mean it clearly. And that's it. Now either do whatever you got to do. I don't care at that point. We're finished at this point. Our stuff is, this one here is first got to get dressed. In a second. Because this guy here owns this is also good friends with people inside the city. He's part of the establishment. He'll turn his blind eye to stuff. Probably why he got his driveway paved by the water department. So he's in with them. He's nothing but a crook. He doesn't care about, he's about making money. Sure things. But anyway, so we'll see how that comes out. So right now I do have a piece of paper here from the code compliance about being in violation. And I'm ready to go one-on-one with them. I've been begging for them to come after me. The people the other end of the street from here, far end down there, one of the houses down there, is a wood frame house, and the yard is growing up, and they're having some problems. And code compliance came out there, but a bit much. And I stopped by and I told them, I said, look, and they were coming down on them a bit. Like, that's what they'll do. Code compliance will attack the weak, the people that are uneducated how to defend themselves. They want to intimidate. They want to be. They want you to jump. When they say pro, jump. I'm not going to. But anyway, that is their model. That's the way they work. I don't like it. But anyway, I told people in the street, I said, look, if you feel like they're pushing you too much or whatever, I said, you feel free. You have my permission. Tell them to come down here. That guy down there at the end of the street is in violation. And you can sick on me and just stand there and tell him that, hey, if you're not going to make him go by the rules, then don't try to make me go by the rules. And that's the way it should be, right? You can't just single out which ones you want to go after and enforce those and leave the list and let them lie. So, and a lot of these rules I don't agree with the code compliance because we didn't have no say. They were put in by crooked people. So code compliance needs to be modified big time from top to bottom. It needs to be redone. It needs to be turned into code service. I don't like that. They got a code rangers, they call it. They have meetings and they invite people to come in and learn what to spot. Go out and be spotters from. Go look for things. It's not right. It's not what code compliance should be about. And then they say they're understaffed and they need more money and all this crap. It's not right. It's just part of the whole picture, though, of a communist government. From Matty Parker taking away free speech to code compliance, riding shotgun on how you're going to live. I've got footage of one of the officers telling them that, matter of fact, I'll put all this in a video. They were telling one guy up on Meadowbrook because he called me and I went for enough filming. And the officer's telling him, you can only have 3 things in your yard. I tell you, I don't know about someone just moved here. It's a new home, new area. They don't have roots. But when you lived here all your life, you got roots here. It's your home. It's your area. No one's not going to tell me I can only have 3 things in my yard. We're going to go to town, I'll tell you that now, because I didn't buy this property to have someone. And this code compliance officer, he doesn't even live in Fort Worth. So I got a guy that doesn't even live in Fort Worth going to tell me how I'm going to live. Now, there's no problem there. None of the neighbors aren't complaining. There is no complaint. I don't complain to my neighbor next door because if there is, I'll talk to my neighbor. Any of my neighbors I have a problem with, I'll talk to first because we solve it that way. Code compliance philosophy is not to do that. They do not do that. Call us. Definitely call us. They want to be all the negotiators in that. No, you can do it yourself. Code compliance should be called code service. And if you can't solve an issue with your neighbor legitimately, or you're afraid of your neighbor, or there's reasons that you just don't feel it's going to work, then call code service. Then you call them in to come and negotiate. And look, that's what their job should be, to serve us, not control us. They control us, not serve us. I remember some time ago, I grew up here, and actually that garage is kind of ironic, because back in the 50s, that was a house. This house wasn't built yet. The house, when they bought this, Mr. Howe and Mr. Howe, they built that right there. Was a small, that's why the meters here and all this stuff. In front of it, you can see the light pole, the electrical pole and all that. That was their house. And back in the 50s, this was a rural area. There was no zoning, none of that. Anyway, that was their house. And they lived there, and they built this house while they lived there. And then turned that into a garage, is what they did. And they had a big garage door here, and that was really nice. And they had that. Miss House, she always took care of the yard. It looks good. That's what they took care of. It's clean. But they passed away and gone. And Larry, one of the older sons, moved back down here for a little while. And this fence wasn't here. And he had a refrigerator sitting right there on that porch. You can see past that fence between the house and the garage, and that little there's a door there that goes to their kitchen. Um, but there was a refrigerator sitting there, and code compliance came by and said, "You got to move that." And there's another one. I have a picture of the guy. He had a washing machine on his back porch. Yeah, I went up, and they said he had to move that. So this stuff is just way too much, you know. That's not code service. That's code compliance. That's not sim, and that's the whole. It all ties together. The big picture ties together. Dummy people down. As long as they won't stand up and resist, they'll be like the Jews in World War II, like sheep being sent to the slaughterhouse. I mean, led to the slaughterhouse. I mean, that's what you said. But nevertheless, that's the thing. But now I've got a Willoughby versus code compliance, and actually, I'm anxious to go around this. I'm anxious to take them on. But first, this has to be settled. And once this is settled, I'm ready to take them on about mine. But I got to ask them, why in the hell are they looking at me? No one ever complaining. And I could show you a list of places that are in violation a whole lot worse. I mean, a lot worse. They should take priority. You're going to come up city, start with the worst ones, but they don't. Code compliance don't go as resistance. I can take over to stop 6 and show them spots. I walked all that area and stop 6, and some people told me that was dangerous. I used to put leaflets on the doors because when I put leaflets out, reaching everybody, I go to every house, all the houses, because that way you reach everybody. You know, you can get, that's how you get a word out. I reach everybody, and plus it gives me exercise. I need to exercise as much as I can. I'm too lazy to, so they make me mad enough. I'll prep a bunch of leaflets and put them on door to door over a period of time. That helps me knock a few pounds off and do my civic duty same time. You know, you see those people out there jogging around these neighborhoods. If they just started a newsletter in their neighborhood and go around, jog around door to door and put that on once a month, they'd be doing their civic duty and still getting their exercise, you know. And they can do things, you know, like whatever in their neighborhood for sale, whatever. And also give them information of what's going on. Try to a little bit about what's going on downtown to inform people, because we're not informed. And that's all I do, not too. But anyway, like I said, this will be. And here's one. I did get this one on here too. This one I went and helped. I stopped this ticket. They didn't get a citation. But this is a coke monster in the backyard. And look at him racing up this. He has no business looking at it. It's none of his business what's under there. Period. It is none of his business whatsoever. And here he is racing that up, looking underneath stuff like that. They're snooping in things, looking around. He shouldn't even be in the backyard. I'll tell you what. What happens is when they force their way or get a court order to cut the padlock, like they did one guy, he was in a wheelchair. They were taking advantage of him big time. They take advantage of the cripple. These people are heartless. I'm telling you, they have no moral values, and then there's the mayor. So that's the answer. It's going to be the mayor first. So we do something about the mayor, make the mayor do something like we want, like the back free speech. We don't have nothing. This is all just a, you know, that's why I call it hiccups. This is minor, just event for a while because it's not going to do any good. It's not going to do any good. I don't believe it all. But anyway, it gives me something to do, so I'm pleased. But anyway, okay. Also, what I want to do is try to get used to using this thing, like I said before, because we do have an election going on. It's about half of Fort Worth to the north side, from downtown to the north of Fort Worth, more or less, and east is District 9, Center District 9. State Senate race, District 9. You may Google it, look it up. There's 3 candidates. So far, Leah, I don't know, the female in there and 2 males. And the female, I've been able to reach her with a phone number and talk to her. I couldn't talk to the other ones. So that's all I need right there. My philosophy, when I vote for people, I'm going to support anybody, I got to be able to talk to them. If I can't talk to them and there's no contact with them, I don't want to talk. I don't want them. All you see on those websites mainly are going to tell you how to get involved, how to give them money, how to be part of their campaign. You don't see them ask me questions, or I'll do a Q&A or any of that kind of stuff. They get elected by not answering questions. So, and that's got to change, and that's what we need to change. These people should answer questions. So I did talk to her for a while. I got to talk to her. So far, as far as my concern, without knowing any more about them than that. She's my front runner. And that's it. I don't care, because that's number one. If you can't talk to them, you don't have anything. I don't care what they say on paper. It don't mean anything. You need to talk to them, not texts, not emails, not just through social media. You need to verbally talk to these people or hear them. Body language. That's body language. You don't get it out of texts and email. You don't know who the hell is doing that anyway. So there's 3 candidates running in district now. I think early voting starts in October. I was thinking about trying to find a place to invite them in and do a meet and greet and a bit of a debate. And let each one tell what they're doing on that and hold it publicly. And I was looking around trying to find some place to do it over here. And it just hit me this morning. It came to me a while ago, and I'm going to call and see. I don't know, I might do this, may not. It costs a few $100 to advertise it. But I'm thinking about doing it. It's the VFW, Veterans of Foreign War, is what it is. And it's located on 820, just south of the Randall Mill exit, going northbound on 820. It's just south of the ramp between John T. White Road and 820 and Randall Mill on the east side of the road. There's a VFW right there, and they got a great place to hold a meeting, big, open, and that, and then the advertisement on 820, beautiful. Put signs up, so it just hit me, and I think I could probably. They might even let us do it for free. Maybe they might even chip in and let us do it because they'll make they have the activity in that. So I'd have to go pay to get a building or something. So I'm gonna do a little investigating on that. I'm cooking that around right now and seeing, because early voting starts in October. People need to know who they're voting for. So we'll see what the word is to the VFW. I want to talk to them first, and I'll talk. The candidates may not want to come out. They may not want to talk, and that won't be surprising. So that, as a people, number one, I don't care what party, what race, what gender. They're not talking, don't vote for them. That's simple. I mean, vote for the person you don't like if he's talking. So, anyway, that's how we're going to change things, get things better by holding them accountable and that, because right now all we get is lies. So what we'll do is we're going to end the show. I love these 30-minute shows. I can do that, get in and out and get off of here, but yet still feel like I got to say something. So I think everybody ought to do this. You ought to do your own 30-minute show, bitch for a while, and it's free. It's cheaper than calcium, I'm telling you that. So anyway, we'll let Maddie tell us we're done, okay?
He's too young to be a mayor, I'll tell you. That's Maddie Parker right there.
Enough.
But you can't take
Don't follow me out. You're done. I don't want you in my face.
No, ma'am.
I want you to be done.
No, ma'am. I'm not done. I'm not done, ma'am. I am not done. I'm a citizen and I'm not done. This is a public building. You do not own it. You do not own it.
You don't have
You do not own it, ma'am. You do not own it. This is a public building.